Just have to keep on top of the maintenance, otherwise things will run away on you. Today I get a slow leak in this drive side rear tyre. Noticed that at Borroloola a few days ago and I've just been pumping it up. Now I've got an opportunity to pull it off, put the spare on. Then I'm going to pump this up to about 60 and see if I can find where the leak is. I know it's not from the valve stem, and go from there. Just pump that tyre that's got a slow leak up to about 48 pounds. Little spray container full of soapy water. Go around and see if I can find the leak. I've gone around and sprayed all this, both side walls, and I can't see anything there. Both sides. So now I'm just going to look for anything in the tread, like that hole there. No bubbles coming out of it, but anyhow, I'll go around and have a look and keep on spraying until I see if I can find a hole. Well, I found one leak. It's right there. See it bubbling out. But I haven't checked all the way around yet. So I'm going to mark that and continue around. A little plug for my mate Ron Bennett, manager ARB Bundaberg store. Bought that kit from him. It's an ARB plug-in kit. I've marked the hole right there. You can see a little bit of pencil mark there, hopefully, and a little bit of a pencil mark there. Got to let the tyre pressure out, for obvious reasons. And probably don't need any introduction to these. Clean out the hole, use a little bit of wax, put a bit of rope. I've only got one left in that one, and stick them in there, half out each side. Push it in, push it down, pull it up. Try and show you anyhow. Clean that hole out as best I can. Hopefully I've got the right spot. Rope, this tool, push it all the way in, and then you hold this round part here tight against the tyre, and then you pull the handle back up and leave the rope in. So that's pushed in. See a little bit of rope hanging out there. Now I'm going to hold that down and pull the handle out. And one left there is a little plug. Got to put some air in now to make sure it's not leaking. Otherwise I've got to put another plug in. Once I'm satisfied it's not leaking, I'll just trim them up with a sharp knife. I've just been checking it as I'm pumping up. I'm about 25 pounds at the moment. Nothing bubbling like it was before, but I'm going to take it up to about 50 pounds. Make sure there's a good amount of air pressure in there. It's on blacktop and running 45 pounds in the back. On this tyre, by the time it gets hot, it's going to be 55, 60 pounds. So I want to make sure it holds if I have to use it. I just thought I'd show you this rear tyre mounting. Most canopies, like the 79s I've seen, have the tyres mounted straight up against the back of the canopy, maybe sitting on a little bit of a ledge like mine is. And that's how mine was originally. And I was getting a lot of wear marks in on the back of the canopy, so I bought a mount. You might be able to just see it in there. It's a troop carrier mount, spare tyre mount, and I've actually reinforced the bracket with some checker plate, and in the back I've put some pretty big stainless bolts, nuts and all like washers. I've also kept the original locking mechanism, which just goes straight through, and there's a threaded nut on the inside. I'll show you that. Let's see if you can see it. The nut's just down in here, and what I do to lock it off so nobody can nick it is there's a little hole here. There's actually a hole through that big spindle as well, and I'll put a locking nut in there as well, locking pin in there as well, so people can't easily nick the spare wheel. Just checking under the engine, getting a little bit of blow by just here from this intake hose. So I'm getting some boost escaping. That hose clamp's just shite. What I've got is some really shitty clamps, and I'll see if I can stick them on just to help it a bit. As a Navy mate of mine used to say, if you don't know how to tie knots, tie lots. So I've got 3 hose clamps on there now. The original one, which isn't the original one, plus the 2 I've just stuck on. I'll give this a bit of a clean down, so I can just keep an eye on that as well. tip out of the blue. For anybody who's got pipes, these 100mm PVC pipes have screw ends, stick tent poles and stuff in there. If the ends rattle off, like mine did, and lost it, thread tape, just plumber's tape. Stops losing the ends, don't lose the poles. Happy boss, happy wife, happy life. Here we go again. Just we pulled in here before Tomato Island. That's where we're camping up for the next 2 nights. Shitloads of other people. It's on the Roper River, and bolted down to Roper Bar Store, about 50 k's east of here, to pick up some unleaded and some diesel, just to get us through to Katherine. Right rear tyre flat, well, almost flat when we got back. So at the moment I've got left rear tyre with a plug in it from Cape York, and the spare tyre a plug in it, so they're going to go 3 tyres with plugs in it. Same deal. Put the bottle full of soapy water. Going to put some air in it first. Got 6 plugs in there. That's just way too many. So it's going to go back on the spare, and the spare that I've got 1 plug in it's coming off and back on. Number 3. That's both back tyres, the spare tyre and the driver's side. Now they'll probably have plugs in it, but that's telling me something. We're in Darwin, so I'll see if I can scrounge up some new tyres. What a bugger. Here at Bow Repairs at Wanelli, Darwin, just got 4 tyres put on the ground. The other one on the back here, I got that from Palmerston yesterday because I only had one. Goodyear Wranglers. It's a bit more aggressive pattern. Not more expensive than down south, but I suppose they'd say up here in the territory, as they always do, freight. And now they'll keep me out of trouble. There's been a little bit of discussion, which is all good, about whether I've got a bench chassis or not. But my train of thought really would be, if I got a bench chassis anywhere in front of the front canopy mount, these beams would also be bent. Well, they look pretty damn straight to me. And so does that one, just taking off the drive side wheel as well, so I can get a real good look in here. So front spring handle mount. Now you can analyse this video as much as you want. I've gone through and looked. I would think that if that was bent, twisted, this powder coating paint would be blistered or cracked. Any of the welds may be broken as well. But I haven't spotted any of that. So again, I'm pretty certain that it's not bent, but I'll keep an eye on it. As for airbag pressures, well, it concentrates support there, nowhere else. And on the diff, it's actually mounted to the diff. So if there was any bends, it'd be there. A mate who bent his chassis with airbags, it was bent there, and it was very obvious. Just I'm going to adjust the handbrakes today on this. Yeah, a little bit sloppy. I've just done most of the service just yesterday. Grease, oil changes. I've also got to do the power steering fluid, and I'll do a little bit more about that and the reason why I'm doing the power steering fluid. Now that's the inspection plate for the handbrakes. I've got to take the handbrake off shortly. Might as well have a look at the disc pads too, make sure we've got some pads left on them as well. Well, I think I need some new disc pads as well, and I'll show you why, if I can work this out. That's the disc caliper, disc from the caliper there. That's a pad steel, and that little bit just there is the pad. So I'm just about down to zip a pad. Same with the other side as well. So another job for today. To get to that, just an inspection plate. Just remove this plate here, 2/8mm bolts. Didn't show you on the other side how to adjust these handbrakes, but you need to have the inspection port down the bottom. There's a little star wheel on the inside, and you've got to leverage the star wheel up, so you're using a straight edge screwdriver, not the one on the Toyota kit, it's not long enough, and you push the star wheel up. To loosen it off, you push the star wheel down. I'm actually going to take the drum off and we'll have a look and I'll show you what I mean. That's the rear rotor and drum off. Plenty of pads still on the brake shoes. A little star wheel there. That's where it adjusts, so as you pull it towards us, that tightens it up. It forces the screw out. Push it down, pushes the screw back in. I don't have a micrometer to measure these, but I think these rotors are probably pretty close to the end of their life. So I'm guessing probably when I get to Perth I might get some new rotors. Okay, the way I adjust these handbrakes, I've locked that up, adjusted it up so it's locked. I can only turn it now if I put a brace on it. Only adjust. I'll back it off probably two of those clicks on the star wheel, and hopefully you'll see the drum move a little bit. Yeah, you can see it moves now. I'm going to lock it up again just to try and centralise those brake pads, and I'll back it off 2 more of those clicks again. Go check the handbrake itself inside now. Yeah, it's got a good feel on it now. There are 2 other adjustments on the handbrake. One on the top here for the cable. I probably wouldn't adjust that unless it was the last resort. And on the back of here as well, just there, if you screw that screw out further, it actually shortens the cable slack. That'd probably be the second thing I do. But if you do those later adjustments, you're more likely going to stretch your handbrake cable, so it's probably better just to adjust the handbrakes if you know how to do that. Show the difference between the old pads and new pads. That's the old pad on my left there, hardly any material left on it. New pad, lots of material. That's the inside pad, so it's one's closest to the diff center. This is one external to the wheel, so it's got a lot more material. Sort of makes sense, the pistons in the calipers closest to the centre too, so it's probably get more pressure there. Earlier I alluded to changing the power steering fluid. I was actually hoping to show you that. It used to be yellow. It's a browny red colour in there now, and you can smell it's a little bit burnt. Let's see if I can get a little bit out with the dipstick. It's a bit hard to see the colour on that, but anyhow, it certainly smells burnt. A little bit of research I've done on the power steering of Toyotas seems to suggest that it's not uncommon, and the fact that it also doubles up for the hydraulic brake booster as well gives it a little bit extra load. It probably hasn't been changed ever since I stopped taking it to Toyota for servicing. I've got to find a low pressure line, disconnect that, and turn on the engine, have the boss keep on topping this up, and I'll bleed it through the low pressure line, and every now and again I'll get someone to turn the steering wheel left and right. I've got the vehicle on jack stands, and I want to turn it left and right just to make sure I flush all the fluid out of the power steering box. The fluid through the hydraulic brake booster should just flush out anyhow. It's in the circuit, so what it means by that is that the power steering pump creates a pressure circuit from low pressure feed from the reservoir. It comes up to the brake booster, another high pressure line out of the brake booster down to the steering box, and from the steering box back to the reservoir. The brake booster also has a low pressure line outlet as well, which goes back to the low pressure feed back into the reservoir as well. Well, to say it's worked out how I hoped it would is a complete understatement or misstatement. Missed the filler when I was filling it up. It's got oil all the way down there. Took the low pressure line off down the bottom. Got oil everywhere under there. Anyhow, we'll get the job done. I used both containers of oil, so 2 litres of oil. Did a purge 3 times. It's back up to the fill mark. I found that when the engine was off and I rotated the wheels, it purged the steering box even more. Now, happy now. There's clean fluid in there.